Hold up.
So in continuation, guys,
Welcome again.
welcome again.
We haven't gone anywhere.
Yes, but this one's a little different. This was about like, we were talking about this earlier about some of the things that we used to talk about and stuff, and the one was cheating or women intuition, like, you know, like it's crazy. Like I can't explain it. I'm not a girl, so Claudia would speak more on this. But like how you see those crazy things about how people get caught cheating. How do you know if your significant other is cheating? What are the red flags? What are the changes and all that stuff? And I remember we talked, and she was telling me some crazy stuff about, you know, some women dream, or some women pick up on things that they didn't realize until they really think about it, and you know, find out and miraculously find out that their significant other is cheating.
We were talking about Spotify. So we have a Spotify account. If you guys haven't clicked on the link below, you can go and do it now or later after you watch this video. And you can listen to all of the old recordings that we have. That was one of the topics, and it got like a lot of listeners, you know, very interested. And we were discussing that again. How we women are able to detect without having a lot of information if our significant other is being unfaithful. I know for one, I have a really good intuition. I can definitely tell because I will probably have a dream. I'll dream about someone being unfaithful, and I'll get that woman's intuition in my stomach.
Do you think it's the energy that we give off as men?
It's definitely the energy, because this has happened in the past where I was in a relationship and the person that I was with was amazing towards me, like catered to me, bought me gifts, treated me like a queen. And still, like, I had that feeling inside of me that something just wasn't quite right. And sure enough, later on, I found out that it was true. My intuition was right.
Damn, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, I told him all about it.
I never thought it would ever. We've been knowing each other for a long time, and before you got into that relationship and throughout, you know, and there was a long period of time we didn't talk, you know, lives go on, you know, we all live our own lives or whatever. But I was very surprised when she told me she didn't get in details, but just told me what happened and what she was going through.
Oh, I went into details, don't I? I went into.
That's not my story to tell. But it was very surprising because yes, it was true. This person was like putting the red carpet out, you know, for her, and for her to kind of like start, you know, kind of like just saying some of the things. It's like, man, you really look back, you're like, damn. Like when you're in love, there's a lot of things you don't catch, you know, right away. But then you start. I guess women start taking time to listen to these gut feelings.
We become detectives. That's what it is.
And she ended up finding out, and it's crazy. It's crazy how I don't know. My thing is what I'm trying to get at is like, okay, is it our energy that we put off, or do we come home more happier? I'm just trying to figure it out because you know it's like I would assume like he's probably more cheerful and you know stuff that. Do you remember like anything like what was the first instance that got you there? Not really, right?
I think it was that dream I was telling you about. So I remember, and this has happened, you know, before too. I remember that I had a dream, and maybe it was an intuition because I picked up little things here and there that were different. But really, there wasn't a lot of change. Yeah. You know? So there was like no red flags. You know how people always say, oh, there's always red flags.
Man, you don't ever see those until like after it's already done.
No, and even if you're in love, like sometimes there really is no red flags. Yeah. And that you can ever really know who someone is. And that's kind of scary to know. But in reality, you really never truly finish knowing someone. And I'm not saying that to scare people, but it's just the reality of things. Yeah. You know, you can put all your trust in a person and they can be complete different, you know, from what you think they actually are. So for me, it was definitely the dreams that I was having. Mm-hmm.
Dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, for me as men, I can only speak for myself. I think it's, for me, in my when I was dating, when I was much younger, way before Stephanie, when I was in a relationship, the way I could tell was in the beginning, you get, when you first start off a relationship, it's constantly texting or making phone calls. What are you up to? And then I start seeing the degradation of those text messages and those phone calls, and sometimes the conversations start getting shorter and shorter and shorter, or I'm gonna go out with my girlfriends more, and it's like then I start. That to me is red flags when I pick up on. Sometimes I pick it up early, or sometimes I'm optimistic, be like, oh, cool, you got friends. Everybody has friends, like, and that's who you want to spend time with, and that's great. So for some people like me, I speak, go do that. That's fine. You want to go do that? We can always spend time later or whatever. But when you start seeing it more frequently, for me, that's what I look at, and I think that's what gets some of us guys to realize that women are, because they start showing attention elsewhere, and not realizing, what you used to give and not what you're giving anymore. And that kind of gives it the telltale sign that, okay, she's giving that attention to somebody else. Because I am a firm believer when they say when women do cheat, they cheat with emotions. And I think with the emotions comes, you have to have that connection with somebody. So you have to put time and effort into that. And I think that's what women do, is like they take time away from here and put it over here. And that's that telltale sign that now she's giving attention to somebody else. And that's, but in other cases, we men I don't think us men have that gut feeling that women have about the intuition. Because you always see those stupid things or those memes where like women's like, yeah, he cheated on me, did this and that, and then I woke up from my dream. I was like, what the? She told me this whole story, and then like come at the end, it's like I woke up. I was like, oh fuck, and then they beat him up or whatever. Like wake up in the middle of the night, like what you cheated on me? And like damn,
in my dream, yeah.
But it's kind of in a sense kind of true, because if you're cheating, it's different, because
and that's what I was trying to like get at. Like when I was having these dreams, even though I didn't actually notice changes, I think without even knowing, I was I was picking up little things here and there.
And is it so minute little that it goes to the back of your head? And I think
that's what happens.
As it's in the back of your brain,
they all connect. And then they create like an image. That's what I mean. It's not like I'm a witch or something. I don't believe in that. No. But subconsciously, I was definitely knowing. Now,
for us guys and all the other listeners, when you have that dream, and you can't speak on all women or whatever, but say you have that dream. Mm-hmm. Okay, what is your next step? And what is it like? Do you put him to a test? Do you start doing something different, or what, to see if like you can get anything out of it?
No, I would never tell someone that I was having that dream. And well, I didn't in the moment. So I didn't tell him that I was having this dream or whatever. And it was just one. It was more than once that I had, I kept dreaming the same thing. And I didn't say anything because I knew that I had to investigate.
And so, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is now do you say things or like,
no,
let me see what his reaction is going to be, even though you're not telling him.
You can't change anything. So, well, at least from the way I handle it.
Guys, we're going to get some of the scoops. No, I'm just playing. I don't condone cheating, but I'm just saying.
No. So what guys are going to be like, all right, I got to listen to this. I started paying closer attention. That's when you start like thinking, okay, all right, something's off. I'm going to find out what it is, right? Obviously, the first place to go is the phone, right? But the person that I was with would always let me use their phone. So, okay. It wasn't like he was trying to like hide it. There's some people that try to hide their phone.
Or what's that thing where if they put the phone down instead of upright?
That's what I'm saying. Like there was no red flags.
There's a lot of things, yeah.
There was no red flags. So I had access to his phone, and so every now and then I would kind of like go through it, but he never cared. He was just like, yeah, use my phone, crazy, like yeah, whatever. So I was like, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna find nothing on his phone. He probably wiped it clean, And so I was like, okay, what's the
question?
Next move?
iPhone or Android did he have?
He had 2 phones.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and that's how I found out. So, so his main phone was an Android, and then his other phone, the one that, I didn't mess with, he basically.
But you didn't know about it, did you? The second phone, or you kind of do, or you did?
He had just gotten that phone. I kind of knew about it because it was a work phone, but
Okay.
like he would keep it at work supposedly, and that was like a big red flag. So I found that phone, and that's how I found out. But I feel like it was a sign from God, straight up, because I was like, how am I gonna find out? Like I would even follow him sometimes because I was like, oh, I have to find out. It's like that, like you have to know feeling. And I remember that, I was like, okay, but I'm not gonna follow him at work because I'm not that crazy, like. But then I was like, but maybe I should, Dude, when I tell you, I was like, I was trying to like plan everything out. Long story short, I found out that he was being unfaithful, but
And that was through the second phone that he had.
and that was through the second phone. And that's why for me, like whenever I see a man and there's a woman that's like, oh, my man would never, like he lets me go through his phone and this and that, and he's so good to me. And then they brag about that, like, oh, my man would never cheat. Like he would
Man,
never.
that would suck.
To me, in the back of my head, I know this is messed up, but I always think, never say never.
Yeah.
Because it
I
could
learned
look
that. I learned that when I was younger.
Yeah,
Never
never
say
say
never.
never because everything could look amazing. You can be treated literally like a queen, and and you can do everything right as a woman and still get screwed over. And that's just life. You just kind of have to roll with it, And I think things do happen for a reason. But then once I started like putting all the, I guess, everything kind of together, I was like, oh shit, like now I know why he did this. And that, and that, and that, and that. And
So
then
all these little red flags start popping up.
That's when the red flags, start popping up. And then you start connecting the dots. That's how you find out.
Now, my question for you is, and I'm pretty sure for listeners, your dream.
Uh-huh.
Now you know the reality.
Yes.
How close or similarity
Identical.
was
It was identical.
Really?
It was so, and that's why it kind of gets a little scary. And I do believe the mind is so powerful because it was very identical. Obviously, there was a couple of things that were different, but it was so real.
So it was almost, I want to say picture perfect. Maybe scenarios are different, but the whole concept thing
was
identical.
And
in
the
a
dream
sense.
wasn't even like that long. I remember the first one that I had was, it wasn't a very long dream. It really wasn't. But it was enough for me to know that something wasn't right. And I remember even like in my dream, I saw the back of the head of the person. I had never seen this person in my fucking life.
Wow.
I had never seen her in my life. But then I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Yeah.
Now, why do you think that women have this and men don't? Do you think it's just a primal thing for us men? Because you hear this on different podcasts and stuff like that about the whole men are very we're territorial in a sense by nature, but by nature, like men are supposed to, men are meant to have reproduce or whatever, and it's not to be set with one person. Like they say, you have one male lion for so many female lions, and that's how they, create. And that's an argument because some people are like, and then you get faith and be like, no, one man and one woman. But then men are like, well, naturally we're meant to, be primal and, be with multiple women and whatnot. And then you have women that are into this polyamorous, and there's people like, oh, it's okay. He takes care of me, so he's okay to do that and whatever. And it's like, and some women are like, no, you're just accepting something that, you're not self-worthing yourself as a woman and stuff like that. And my thing is like, do you think that could be, why women have these intuition that men don't? Because I don't think us men have that gut feeling. Do you think it's more of a woman being a woman because she's very, she's naturally supposed to be nurturing
like
and stuff?
biologically,
biologically.
I think energy is a big factor, and we are made out of energy.
Yeah.
And I think that it does change, and because when you're with someone for so long, you have matching energies. Like you kind of are like on the same.
So you mold together in a sense.
Yeah, you mold together. You do things together. So therefore, your energies kind of start, in my opinion, from what I've seen, like they start kind of like. So when the person is, I guess, and this is just a hypothesis. Like this is not something that I know for a fact, but this is just what I think. When a person starts to like look elsewhere and they start getting attention and start spending time with other people, their energy changes.
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, it's not matching anymore. I think that's what it is.
But my thing is like, why? Because my thing is, it's the same thing for women though. But do we see it as men and we're very like dull and we see things for what it is, and women like more key on energy? I think maybe that's what you're kind of relating to, is like
Maybe
my
it's a
energy is
survival
no
thing.
longer matching with his energy because his energy has changed because he's allowed
And then you
a
have to
different
find out.
energy from another woman or whatever. You know what I mean?
It doesn't even have to be another woman. It could be like a friendship or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Right. But once a man starts to change, you start questioning like, okay, but what's happening here? You know, if we're not changing together, that means he's changing. But why is he changing? You
Yeah.
know, I think it might be a survival thing too for a woman. I don't know. But that is something that I notice that men don't have that often.
Yeah, and it's just like genetically, biologically, you know.
And I will say this one thing though.
If anybody has any comments or any ideas, please put them in the comments because I want to know too. I'm just curious. I really am. I mean, you never have heard a man say, "I have an intuition that you know."
Men tend to not, and I know this for a fact because most women that I know that have stayed in a relationship where they got cheated on, they actually ended up cheating themselves to get payback, and the man that was like in the relationship never found out. Men tend to not find out.
I think. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of men, and I speak for myself, and I speak for people that I know, and I'm not putting names out there, but some men like to brag. Some men like to brag. You know, we're I think we look for self a self acceptance or like out external to be like I'm more masculine because I've slept with another woman or I slept with multiple women or my number's this high, and you know. And there's this whole thing now. It's like women with high numbers are not accepted, but men with high numbers are accepted because that shows experience and that shows alpha male energy, and that's what women want. And it's like it's all kind of in today's age is really weird. You know what's accepted, what's not accepted, what's allowable, what's not allowable, and that just kind of gets to where like you said, I think men in defining or women find out that men cheat a whole lot more than the other way around is because we want to pump our chest out more, and we want to, and that's one way we do it.
And women tend to cheat for revenge most of the time.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I will say: a woman is never gonna fully forgive, even if she's like a housewife. Then you would be like, oh, she would never. Like, yes, I did her wrong, but she would never do that to me because she's a good woman. Oh yeah, she will. Yes, she will when you least expect it and with the person you least expected. Yeah, she's gonna get payback.
That best friend.
Eventually.
And you know what's crazy too, and the reason I say the reason because we men brag about it, and then they end up finding like, oh, how did you find out? It's because you had that homeboy that
your
fucking
friend,
homeboy was trying to get
told
it
me.
into. Yeah, homeboy trying to get it in too.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, just be careful what you say. And women. I think women are the reason I think, well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some women keep all that in is because they don't want to be blasted as promiscuous or anything like that, because it's like, if I tell,
it's not that,
and I think the same thing for women too, though, because there are some homegirls trying to get it in with the homegirl dude or whatever, whatnot, because, because they go out to the, girls' night out.
Yikes.
And then girls let loose, and homegirl knows you have a dude, and like, what is that thing they say, like, oh, she doesn't deserve you or whatever. You hear those little things on, and this is stuff I get off the internet, and you see this, and some could be skidded, some could be true, like, she don't deserve you, she cheated on you, and it's crazy. It's a lot of drama shit, but I think it's true about that. I think women hide it better because they don't want to be ostracized as being promiscuous or a hoe or whatever the case may be. No,
I think it's 2025. Women don't care. Actually, women will announce it and they'll be like, yeah, I got back. I got you back. Like, I got payback. Now
that's
what?
crazy though.
People don't care no more. And it's because, like, as a woman, if you are faithful and you get wronged, I think it's more of a pride thing. Like, oh, you did me dirty. Okay, I did all these things for you and you did me dirty. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to you.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think to me,
yeah,
for a woman to get payback is when she goes off and does her own. Like, to me, the biggest payback for me as men is like, if a woman cheats and you done as a male, I can't, I don't like, you try to do everything you could. You were mentally supportive of her. You were physically, emotionally to her. You know, and because we always say, when somebody cheats, okay, what went wrong? What was missing? Everybody goes to that. But I mean, there are some people that are just genuinely that type of people where they're very highly sexualized people and, whatever. And, they're not true to themselves to be like, well, maybe I just can't see myself with one person. And they pretend that they are, they're going to find that one love, and they're not really that type of person because they're just overly stimulated or whatever. And they just have to have multiple women. There's a place and things for everybody. But my thing is you could do everything right. You could pay all the bills. You can make her a stay-at-home wife. You could, provide for her, comfort her, kiss her, smother her, whatever the case may be. Everything that what women say they want in a man, and they go out and cheat. I think the best thing for revenge is do better in yourself and be more. Because to me
I think
you cheat on a male, and then that dude becomes a millionaire, or whatever. That to me is like, look at me now type shit. That to me is the ultimate revenge. Not fucking going out and cheating, doing all this other shit.
I think that it has to be both.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I see it is like, get payback. And maybe I'm just speaking from from my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. I believe that getting payback is important. Just because if not, then you're going to regret it later on. You're going to be like, damn, I should have taken that chance when I should have gotten payback right after it happened. Like, I don't know. That's just me though. Like an eye for an eye. That's how I see it. And then do better. Work on yourself. Make more money. Go work out. Eat healthy. Whatever.
Like get jacked. Skin. Yeah. And you know what? There's a lot of people do that though. A lot of people have that motivation where like they got cheated on. I know guys are like, oh man, down
it's a great motivation.
They hit the damn gym, and next thing you know, or you see the ones where the guys cheat on the women and they were overweight
and they transform
and they become this beautiful butterfly or whatever. I think all women are beautiful in their own sense of ways. And I think there's a person for everyone out there. But it is a great motivation. You have to take you got to take the best out of when people do that, when people say, okay, this was a very traumatic thing, but you came out on top, that to me is the best reward.
Yes, but it also depends how badly someone hurt you or how badly the betrayal was, because it's a betrayal. Like you mentioned, there's some people that are just very sexual, right? Mm-hmm. And they lie about it. They're like, oh no, I could be with one person. They're not being honest with that one person they're with, right?
And themselves either.
Yeah.
So if you can't be honest with yourself, how the hell are you going to be honest with somebody else?
Precisely. So I have respect. This is not the lifestyle that I would choose, but I definitely respect people that are very open about being liberated. that are
very free.
very, very free, very they're just open about it. They're about open relationships, or they believe in having like multiple wives, whatever have you, but they're honest about it, and I have respect for that.
Because you're not going to waste somebody's time.
Exactly.
Because you're going to meet somebody, right? And of course you're going to not know anything about them, and you're going to like want to know what their birthdays are and go through all the little basic questionings of birthdays, what's your sign, if you're into signs and stuff like that, zodiac signs and who's compatible, who's not compatible. I can never remember. You always see that, but like you said, I respect you. Don't see the value in that because that's just who you are. You feel that I should be number one for a man, and that should be it,
right?
And then there's women that that rather take value of he's providing for me, he's doing all this, so I allow him to do other things. You know what I mean? And you see that more often now than anything else because it's 2025. A lot of stuff is out there, But I am a firm believer, and I've always told, like, if you are that type of person, just be honest, be upfront. Don't waste somebody's time. If you know you're going to have those tendencies or that's who you are. But then there's some guys that don't even know that's who they are because they're just too busy doing other things instead of taking time to really know what you want and take time for you.
I think this is where this is why a lot of women get upset. It's because there's men that want to live that life. Like, yes, I want to have multiple women. I want to be free. I want to do what I want. And then they meet someone and they're like, okay, I want you to only be faithful to me while I go and mess around with different women. That's the dilemma that a lot of these people are facing. And that's why they lie about being faithful. Because, I mean, which is kind of like being a hypocrite if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect to like have this ability to sleep with other women and then want your spouse to be faithful to you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
But to me, that's just selfish.
But what you just mentioned happens a lot in people that are more successful. I know there's athletes and athletes' wives that have put stuff out there like they're athletes. They are never home half the time because, you know, they're working out or their team practices, or if like in basketball, they're like 40-something games are out of town. So you're predominantly living in LA and you're traveling the East Coast or whatever, doing all your basketball games. There's wives that have been out there to say like, hey, my man's an athlete. He makes millions of dollars, take care of me and my kids. I'm married to the guy, but I know he has his urges. So,
but I'm faithful to him. But that's the 1%, and that's what I'm just saying. Yeah. No, like I'm talking about
the circumstances would be different
for most people that are in that situation where they're cheating on their spouse or their girlfriend or whatever, and they want to have multiple women, but they don't want that one person to like have multiple men. That's hypocrisy. That's just being selfish. That's what you call a narcissist for real. Because they just want everything for themselves.
True. I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's. I think when selfishness hits, or when one starts worrying about themselves and what they want, that's when I feel like the relationship starts to
they're not being fair.
Because when people say when you're in love, is when you stop worrying about yourself and you focus on the other person.
Correct.
And you're supposed to get that same reciprocal back. They're supposed to worry about you. You worry about them. That's what keeps a relationship together and love. Once it stops going that way, that's when it starts to rumble and crumble and possibly go downhill. But I mean, I hear a lot of things. And there's a thing for everybody. But like you said, at the end of the day, at the end of the damn day, you got to be
transparent,
true to yourself. You have to learn how to love yourself before you can love others. That's what I've always been told when I was young. Love yourself before you can love others. And just be true to yourself and don't waste other people's time. You know, people are legitimately out there trying to look for somebody and to somebody they can have their best friends, and love, to be married to their best friend, to be married to the person they love, and to have all that category into one person. And it's out there, you got to be true to yourself. And let's be honest, if a guy says that to a woman, take it for face value. That's not who you are. Hey, thanks for being honest. And vice versa. Thanks for being honest. That's just not for me.
Yep.
Want to be friends? You can be friends, but I doubt that that's ever going to happen. But go on and you live your life. And that's the way I see it. And
so that you don't waste anyone's time, because it's exhausting trying to figure out if your spouse is cheating. I know for women it's different. Like you said, they're usually cheat whenever they're, I guess, not emotionally available in that relationship anymore. Yeah. And for men it's different. I guess they're more like visual people. And
I think it's more I think it's... What's that thing? People say women cheat with emotions and men cheat just
to cheat. Just to have something. And I don't even think it's for something. It's never for something better. It's always for something that's easier and something that's different. And I've heard that a lot, where men say, to be honest with you, she meant nothing. And not with me directly, because if somebody ever told me that, I'd be like, what are you even doing here? Like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
But I have seen on the internet, and I've had friends that have said stuff like that, where they're like, I just slept with that person just because they were there. They were available. They were ready to go. They were not even better. They were not even great. They were just different. Yeah. Yeah.
And and men say, oh, it's just, we're like squirrels just trying to get a nut. Like, that's a saying. It's a saying. I'm a squirrel trying to get a nut. That's it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I've heard one where guys and I've
never heard of that before.
There was like, and I think it was on a show where the guy's like, you do this because you have respect for your woman because you'll do things to another woman that you would not do to your wife.
That's bullshit.
I was like, what the fuck? Like,
that's bullshit.
I was like,
that's
but it's people giving themselves excuses. People giving themselves excuses to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Much.
And trying to look for the out. But at the end of the day, guys, just be true to yourself. Just love yourself to love others, and be true to yourself. And just face the music. If you done it, you done it. Just come out and you never know when she may want to forgive you, but like, you know,
Yeah, because
people say they'll never forget.
Your significant other is gonna find out eventually. The truth always comes to light. There's always ways to find out.
But like we men say, hey, we're taking that shit to the grave.
Man can't ever take shit to the grave. Women do, but not men.
You know, but hey, and that's why we're different. But that's okay.
No, it's not okay.
Well, I mean, we're different in the whatever, but
yes.
you know, but it was a great conversation.
All right.
As always.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you.
Hold up.